I think it's good cinema. I consider it good cinema. You know, you sit there in a movie theater.
Hello, cinema enthusiasts. Quentin Tarantino. He doesn't just make movies. He creates a universe with absolute rules. For him, the script is the holy book, and on set, obedience is essential. But some dared to question this absolute authority. They tried to change Tarantino's sacred script or broke his code of loyalty. At 62, the director broke his silence with an explosion and revealed the top 5 actors he despises in the entire film universe. Let's begin. Number 1. Lawrence Tierney, expelled by violence. At the top of our list is the earliest and most shocking test of Tarantino's authority, noir cinema legend Lawrence Tierney. Tierney was perfect for the role of Joe Cabot, the tough crime boss in Reservoir Dogs. But behind the camera, Tierney was a nightmare, a ticking time bomb that turned Tarantino's first directing experience into chaos. Tierney would forget his lines, scream at crew members, and constantly clash with Tarantino even over the simplest scene blocking. The tension peaked during an argument over blocking a scene. Tierney refused to follow Tarantino's instructions, and the argument escalated into a physical confrontation. Tierney stormed off the set, and the 29-year-old Tarantino followed him to the door and fired him on the spot. Firing Tierney wasn't just a production decision. It was a declaration of absolute authority. Tarantino later said, "It was like dealing with your senile uncle who hasn't taken his medication." Tierney's chaotic presence was poisoning the film's energy. As loud as that firing was, what followed was silent and final. Tierney was erased from Tarantino's cinematic universe. Although Reservoir Dogs became a cult classic, Tarantino never mentioned Tierney again in his reflections. This episode gave Tarantino his first major lesson. Control and peace on set matter more than star power. Reason for his hatred. Tierney contaminated the sacred set energy with violence and unpredictability and challenged the writer's authority. Number 2. Warren Beatty, a threat to the writer's authority. Second on the list is the greatest threat ever made to Tarantino's identity as a writer-director, Warren Beatty. Beatty was Tarantino's original choice to play Bill in Kill Bill. Tarantino built the character's poetic danger and tragic weight around Beatty's legendary charisma. It was supposed to be an epic comeback for him. But the collaboration died before a single frame was shot, thanks to Beatty's ego. Beatty wasn't just an actor. He was an Oscar-winning director and screenwriter. Before accepting the role, he demanded access to the script, revisions, tonal changes. He wanted to be involved as a co-writer and co-director. For Tarantino, this was the ultimate red line. His script was the Bible, a singular work of a singular author. Beatty's suggestions were seen as a direct threat to Tarantino's creative sovereignty. When David Carradine took over the role, he said of Beatty's departure, "Warren was trying to direct the director, and Quentin doesn't play that." On his set, there is no debate about who tells the story. Beatty was replaced quietly. Tarantino never publicly trashed him, but summed up the split in one line. "I needed someone who understood this wasn't their story." Beatty never appeared in a Tarantino film again. His legendary career didn't matter. In Tarantino's universe, he got one chance, and he blew it. Reason for his hatred. Beatty questioned Tarantino's absolute authorship and the sacred nature of the script. Number 3. Bruce Willis, the star who wouldn't submit. Third on the list is the star who failed Tarantino's loyalty test and was quietly erased, Bruce Willis. Pulp Fiction, 1994, was the comeback Willis desperately needed. After a series of critical flops, Hudson Hawk, Color of Night, Tarantino didn't just give him a role, he gave him salvation. But Willis's Hollywood swagger and sarcasm clashed with Tarantino's obsessive intensity. Tarantino's scripts are sacred. Every word is meant to be spoken as written. But Willis loved improvising. injecting his star persona into every line. He brought star power. Tarantino demanded total submission. Crew members said Tarantino viewed Willis as unreliable and not fully committed to the role. Willis didn't disappear into his character. He carried his celebrity into every scene. After Pulp Fiction, Willis gave interviews about how his career revived, yet rarely mentioned the film. For Tarantino, this was betrayal and ingratitude. Meanwhile, Travolta and Jackson, loyal actors, were rewarded with future collaborations. Willis never was. A silent erasure. No public fight, just total exclusion. In interviews, Tarantino would praise the cast of Pulp Fiction while skipping Willis's name entirely. For Tarantino, loyalty is a lifelong contract, and Willis broke it. Reason for his hatred: Willis disrespected the writer's authority, broke Tarantino's loyalty code, and failed to appreciate the second chance Tarantino gave him. Number 4. George Clooney, the public execution. Fourth is the man Tarantino punished, not privately, but publicly: George Clooney. The two worked together on From Dusk Till Dawn, but their partnership never grew. Not because of a secret feud, but because Tarantino openly belittled Clooney in interviews. Years later, in an interview, Tarantino dismissed him with a brutal line: "George Clooney is not a movie star. No nuance. No sarcasm. Just execution." He then challenged people to name Clooney's truly great films, publicly undermining him. This wasn't personal, it was philosophical. To Tarantino, Clooney represented Hollywood's polished, risk-free, mass appeal face. Tarantino's world is blood, revenge, and psychological chaos. Clooney's clean-cut charm didn't belong there. He reduced Clooney's status, casting him not as an artist, but as a brand. Clooney clapped back angrily, but the damage was done. Tarantino ends relationships not with drama, but with disdain. Clooney was edited out of Tarantino's universe forever. Reason for his hatred: Clooney embodied the safe, glossy image of Hollywood, the opposite of Tarantino's raw, dangerous cinema. Number 5. Spike Lee, The War for Artistic Freedom. Last on the blacklist is the biggest intellectual challenger to Tarantino's artistic autonomy: director Spike Lee. This wasn't just creative tension. It was a public war over artistic responsibility and who gets to tell which stories. Spike Lee criticized Tarantino for overusing the N-word in Jackie Brown. Quentin is obsessed with that word. Who does he think he is? An honorary black man. Tarantino shot back with zero apology. Then came Django Unchained. Lee refused to watch it, calling it disrespectful to his ancestors. Tarantino dismissed the criticism as jealousy. "I think his problem is that I made a better black movie than he did. He wants to make the films I make." He erased Lee by ignoring him entirely. Tarantino worked with countless actors from every background, but never with Lee or anyone from his filmmaking circle. For him, this wasn't a disagreement. It was an attempt to restrict his artistic freedom. And Tarantino punishes attempts at censorship the harshest. Reason for his hatred: Lee challenged Tarantino's absolute creative freedom and the writer's right to choose his own language. In Quentin Tarantino's cinematic universe, the rule is simple: talent isn't enough. You need trust, loyalty, and total artistic submission. Tierney, Beatty, Clooney, they broke the code. And Tarantino didn't forgive, he erased. In his world, the punishment is being rewritten out of existence. So what do you think? Was Tarantino's total control the price of genius, or the result of a writer's ego? Share your thoughts in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, because Hollywood has many more dark secrets waiting to be uncovered.